everyone, it's Rainy for Talk to Me Tuesday, and the only thing that I have to share with you guys is my There and Back Again quilt top. I ended up getting that block repieced. Came out very well this time. And what I did for this go around, let's see if I can explain it where it makes sense. If you ever want to do the There and Back Again quilt, this block with the cloaks is, in my opinion, is the hardest block, but it's not hard as in piecing. It's just make sure that everything is lined up, because when the cloaks aren't lined up, the colors, it throws the block off. So this is what worked best for me. When I was stitching the rows together, what I did is I did the whole pin method that Jennifer uses at the corner. I lined it up, and then I used my clover clips right here, and I clipped each little intersection, making sure that the colors lined up, the background fabric lined up just right, and then I started stitching. I did not change my stitch length. I used like a, whatever the standard stitch length is on the FOF. It's a 2 point something. I used that, and I used it as like my basting stitch. Once I stitched it, the row together, I opened it up, and if I liked how everything lined up, then I restitched it with a shorter stitch length that I used for paper piecing, and I think I used a 1.5 is where I like it. And then I just took out my basting stitch. If I didn't like how things lined up, the basting stitch is easier to take out and rip out than a 1.5 stitch length. That's a pain to unpick in a heartbeat. So I did it that way. It took longer to piece, but I got everything lined up pretty well to a point where I was really happy with it. The only thing is I did start switching colors of the cloaks by mistake. So my two yellows are two different colors. And then this blue in between, right beside the red, that blue, I switched the colors on that. But I can live with that. Also, my hook fabric, the wood fabric, is a little bit thicker, because whenever I was piecing the bottom, I realized that I started doing wood fabric and I didn't use the background, so I just made sure I repeated it up at the top, where when you look at it, you don't necessarily think it was a mistake. So, very happy with that. I ended up, I think, it was Susie Quilts that called it my, what does she call it? My earth tones, whenever I was showing you guys my fabric last week. So when I laid everything out, I really like that burnt red color for the sashing, so I took away the gray. And I also went ahead and used that chocolate brown Moda Grunge for my border. The back of the quilt is that burnt orangey red. That's just so pretty. So I got everything pieced, and now I'm at the point where I'm slowly quilting on this. I'm not going extremely fast. I'm just, whenever I want to quilt, I just start quilting it. So I started on the inside block, which is the Lonely Mountain, and I knew I wanted to do something different in each square. I started working with the invisible thread. I got a lot of practice to go for this puppy. We have another bobbin case that we can switch out, and it worked well with that particular bobbin case. I'll show it in another video sometime. You have to have a lot of patience with invisible thread, and really wanted to start quilting on it, so I just used the regular thread that I had on hand. Right now I'm using actually embroidery thread, but that's okay, because I figured, I mean, it's just a wall hanging, so it's not going to be like I'm cuddling with it every night and throwing it in the washer and dryer all the time, so it's gonna get loved on the wall, but I'm okay with using the embroidery thread. So this is what I've got quoted so far with my Lonely Mountain. I used a stipple stitch in the inside of the white background, and it was, let's see. So I used that, and my Lonely Mountain really popped out with that. I'm very happy about it. The stipple stitch that I used was the same stipple stitch that I used for the Harry Potter quilts. And then for the sashing blocks, I just did straight line quilting. I want to quilt this thing to death is what I want to happen. So my border, I just used a crazy stipple stitch for that. The next one that I'm going to be working on, I think I'm going to do the mithril next. Not sure what I'm going to quote on that yet, but I'll figure it out. I've done a lot of unpicking, especially with the border, because I thought maybe I liked something, and then I ended up unpicking it, so we'll get there. So it's just going to be heavily quilted. I'll show you what it looks like from the back so far. It's pretty cool. Very excited. I cannot wait. But you can see some of that crazy stitching on the border. And that is what it's looking like on the back. I will not be here next week. I have a conference that I am going to with work on Monday and Tuesday. So I'll be away doing that. And I got some plans over this weekend. I plan to be poolside with my twin sister. We're going to grill out some hot dogs. So I'm probably not going to do anything crafty for a while. But I'll tell you all about my adventure of my conference. Not next week, but the week after. Because the place where we're going is on my bucket list. Going to Asheville, North Carolina, and it's so exciting because I've always wanted to go there. And where we're staying at is the inn that we're staying at for the conference is right in front of the Biltmore House. So that's pretty exciting. So there's going to be, we're going to try to leave early. So before my conference start, we're going to do some tourist activities, and then after the conference we're going to do some tourist activities driving home. So that'll be fun. There's already like some cool shops that me and Matthew have checked out online that we want to go to while we're there. And yeah, so that's all I got to share with you guys. I look forward to watching your videos, and you will not see me next week, but I'll be watching you in a non-creepy kind of way, because that came out really creepy. But anyways, have a great week.